Namaste, Galactic family. Welcome back to the channel IndigoAngel. Come on into this dimension. Come on into this quick energy update that I wanted to touch bases with you guys on Halloween, on the pagan festival of Samhain, as it's a pretty nice day out here down in Florida. It is a little bit chilly and cool. I did wake up this morning and it was actually really cold, but the sun has continued to come out. And it's actually turning out to be a really nice day. It is a little bit windy though, a little bit chilly. I have since not been able to get in my pool anymore at this point. It's officially crossed over to the point that the water is just too cold. So I'm just now getting to kind of relax around it, but not getting to use it as much. So yeah, it makes for a pretty background for my videos, doesn't it? But essentially, yeah, I just wanted to tune in with you guys. I think today is a pretty significant day, astrologically speaking, planetarily speaking, in terms of the planetary cycles of death and rebirth. And so right now, it's that time of year that the leaves are dying, nature is preparing for the stillness of winter. And so it's going through this death and rebirth transformation. And I think that this is a really important time in our cycles that occurs naturally in nature all the time. And so it's something that then begins to be mirrored within us. And so I think it just reflects on the point that we are always going through our own processes of death and rebirth, ascension and descension, shedding, releasing, rebirthing ourselves along our own personal journey. And a lot comes up with that, and I think today is the day that we kind of honor those processes and we celebrate those processes. But I think it's also a time that we can kind of sit back and reflect on the things that we've had to let go of, the things that have had to die in terms of our timelines, our relationships, our inspirations, our motivations, our direction, our goals, whatever it is we have going on that has maybe come to an end, making space for new things to begin. Just the process of letting go in general, right? Like we're celebrating really ultimately a cycle of new. And with that new, I have a message that I've been guided to share with you guys that's really come up a lot in session work. And that's we should be focusing on deeper levels of forgiveness inside ourselves. When we let go of something, someone, a relationship, when we let go of our own pain, when we let go of our own trauma, when we let go of our own memories, and decide to enter into a new cycle, a lot that is very penetrating in terms of our healing and in terms of thriving within that new timeline is the focus of forgiveness. Okay, so this has really been coming up a lot, is the need and the power to forgive, to heal, and to move on and to start our new cycles. And so that's kind of my message for everyone, is just remember that forgiving is for you. It's not for the other person. Okay, and especially when we talk about our parental traumas, our parental grooming, our parental wounds, which do seem to be one of the most powerful and debilitating wounds that I think we collectively share, is coming in with this degraded mother and father arcing incarnation, mother and father arcing lines, where we just were subjected to a lot of abuse. We were subjected to a lot of abandonment. We were subjected to a lot of neglect by our parents. I think it's a good time to try to forgive and to heal that and to choose to move on, which is really, 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 really hard. But I want to kind of talk about forgiveness a little bit. So the intention to forgive is actually like a voluntary process. It's where you choose to look at where you've been victimized. Maybe it's with your parents, maybe it's through a relationship, again, through a job, whatever it is, but it undergoes a change in your feelings and your attitude regarding the person who has committed those offenses against you. even if they're deeply rooted for multiple years in your life, deeply fragmented in what has caused all of your soul fragmentation. It's where you actually choose to let go of the negative emotions, such as just holding on to seeds of betrayal, holding on to seeds of hatred, holding on to seeds of vengefulness, and the vindicta rods, which we see playing out collectively, where it's almost a ceremonial ritual to be revengeful and get your vindication, right? And so this is about increasing your ability to wish your offenders well, right? And to not wish them any harm and to let go, to truly heal. And I think that forgiveness is ultimately a very important process of our self-mastery and giving attention to the capabilities of ourselves to practice better personal self-awareness and to discipline our own ego who wants to hold on to that pain body, right? Like our ego doesn't know what life is like on the other side of our trauma and our pain. And so it holds on to it for safety and security. But when we hold on to that pain, we're not forgiving. We're not actually letting go. We're not actually transcending. And so you become more self-aware, you become more informed, you become more clear, you are less prone to all of the mind control when you can see the higher qualities of forgiveness. This is truly an attribute of the crown chakra. This is truly an attribute of the higher knowing. So if you're truly activated to your crown, to your seventh dimensional frequency, consciousness, and identity, you understand that forgiveness is an endeavor to move away from inner confusion and move towards discovering inner clarity. And so that's why I say it's for you, it's not for them, because to forgive another person or circumstance is the most generous thing that you can do for yourself. Okay, so this Halloween, you guys, as we're going through death and rebirth, and the veils are very thin, which means you can see through the transgressions of those that have hurt us. You can see now even more through the transgressions of the bonds of our trauma and our pain body. This is what's heightened right now. And so we have a better ability at this time of year to cut those cords, cut those entanglements to our painful patterns, to our painful partners, to our painful parents, to our own internal judgments against others and ourselves, resentment and anger. So yeah, guys, forgiving yourself is the most important action that I think you can take to cleansing self-sabotaging bonds of victimhood and their painful wounds, and really take your healing to the next level where you truly can let go of those ulcerative wounds, or at least stop triggering them to resurface and to cause more pain again and again. And again, I want to speak about this because I mean, this is what's coming up the most in a lot of people that I've been talking with. And so it's such an important thing to just sit and think about it. If you can connect with the spirit of forgiveness. Yeah, forgiveness is a spirit of its own. I mean, there's angels of forgiveness that are not fallen. Okay. They are high in the heavens, just waiting to open the gateways to the angelic forgiveness doors. And this doesn't mean that you have to accept abuse or harmful energies or actions being directed to you. Okay. You can still hold your respectful boundaries and still forgive someone, forgive and not forget, like you learn from the lesson of what caused you pain. And so it is possible to forgive a person who is possessed by negative forces, who is possessed by demonic energy, and they can't change. They're not going to change. It's not in their capacity to wake up and transcend their trauma and their dissension, biological, genetics, and inherited BS that's come down through their ancestral line. Okay. It's all about, being able to just be completely neutral towards them. And that's for your health. This is for your well-being. This is for you to be able to forgive, set the proper boundaries or distance away from them while undergoing the healing processes, okay? So it's important to know that many times for these people to be in control themselves, they can't, because they're being controlled by the negative forces and the harmful acts to cause this against other people. So I'm just saying, overall, you guys, on this beautiful timeline trajectory that we're all in, and many of us are celebrating because this is very much a pagan holiday, Samhain, the pagan holiday, that I think we forgive and we cut cords to the attachments, to the bindings that are energetically connected to other people or dark forces from the emotional trauma events that have, happened. And you can seal off the container. You can seal off the container to your past in the heart and the spirit of forgiveness. So that way you can focus on the future. You can really free your own consciousness. And that's what death and rebirth is about, right? You're birthing anew. You're the phoenix rising up from the ashes. And this is an important part of reclaiming your core self, you guys. And yeah, I just love you all so much that I feel like this message may be for somebody today that just needs that extra reassurance that they are doing the right thing by forgiving and being able to heal themselves, let go, and still maintain those really powerful boundaries. And I get, with our parents, it is so hard to forgive them because we want their acknowledgement, we want their acceptance. We feel like we can't move forward or we can't heal if they don't at least see what they did, or if they can't take some ownership. But as soon as you can accept that you're never going to get that, you know what I mean? The sooner you can make peace with it, have understanding and clarity that is what that is. Choose to forgive it anyways. Create the boundary and continue to move on. I've been saying mantras over the last few nights, every night before I go to sleep. I forgive my mother and father. I forgive my mother and father. I forgive my mother and father. I forgive my mother and father, just over and over and over again. And it's really, I feel like it's bringing a sense of peace. It's bringing a sense of joy. It's bringing a sense of transdimensional transformation within me. My father, I never knew him. He abandoned me. He was never a part of my life. I don't have a father figure or a father role model necessarily. And so I have to find a way to heal that, right? I have to just forgive, because that was a part of my destiny path in this lifetime, to have this experience to build who I am today. I read a saying earlier that said, if you truly knew what people went through to be the person that they are today, to be able to speak about the things that they do, to be inspirational speaker or someone helping others or giving their life to service and being this good person that you see, if you truly knew what they went through, you'd have such a greater respect for them, such a greater honor, right? And so it's so true. Everybody you see doing this light work is somebody who has been through chaos, trauma, abuse, the detriment, the fall of mankind, the mind control, the binding of enslavement forces on this earth, genetic predispositions of warfare over their bloodline. I mean, we've been through it all. We've been through the gamut. And that's why I think the light worker community, the higher consciousness community, is a very bonded community, even though there's a lot of differences in between it and along the way. I think at the end of the day, we all come back to knowing that we are trauma and abuse survivors. And so this is what really bonds us at our core. So yeah, Halloween message for you guys. I hope it's inspirational. I do want to talk a little bit though about Samhain. I love the fact that we're still celebrating pagan holidays through our current times, with a lot of people in denial and disbelief of this truth, but it's true. So yeah, this is actually celebrated for 2 days. So it goes October 31st through November 1st. They call it a 111 portal. And so this is spiritually activating at its highest. And sorry guys, I keep getting hair in my mouth because it's actually pretty windy out here. But and hopefully the wind isn't too crazy on the video, but essentially this has a lot to do with the rising of Pleiades. So Pleiades is actually in an oppositional position to us right now, and it's at the highest point in the sky during this time of year in the northern hemisphere. And Pleiades is also said to represent cycles of death and rebirth, with Alcyon once being our grand central sun. So it's gone through major cycles of death and rebirth that have coincided to our total cycles of the rhythms of Mother Nature. And so as this veil thins and we are, connecting more with what's on the other side, whether it's transdimensionally, off-world, parallel timelines, or if it's to the dead, the realms of the dead and the realms of the unborn. Essentially, it's heightening all of our intuition because we're going into the sign of Scorpio. And so Scorpio is very connected to Pleiades, again, with it being in an oppositional position to Scorpio. And Scorpio's energy, again, is about death, rebirth, sex, transformation. If you are a Scorpio, which I am a Scorpio, and there's probably a lot of Scorpios in the house with me here, comment down below if you are a Scorpio as well. You'll know that we are in a constant process in our own consciousness of transformation, of death and rebirth, of going to the depth of everything, because we have to go to the depth of death. We have to go to the depth of what's really going on inside everything and at its ultimate core. And so I really think that Scorpio in general rules over the paranormal and our connection to other dimensions and portals. And so I just want to honor the Pleiadian system today and also talk to you guys a little about my Pleiadian Starseed Activator. If you have a lot of positions in Scorpio, you would have some Pleiadian starseed markers, most likely. I think it's going to be in the earlier degrees of Scorpio. So like 1 to maybe like 13 degrees Scorpio, that you're going to have Pleiades as an origin. Essentially, this system is just, I think it's bringing in the healing element of this time. And a good way to activate to your starseed origin is to use the Starseed Activators. This one was blended according to a channeling that I did with the Pleiadian system, which was mixed with rose and patchouli oil. It's one of my best sellers. It's infused with Lemurian quartz crystals. As you guys know, that Pleiadians came in and they seeded the 24th chromosome into the Lemurian soul body of human beings in the timeline of Lemuria. So we kind of mixed the Lemurian touch and component with this oil, and we just infused it and attuned it to the actual star system of Pleiades. So I'll leave a link down in the description if you're interested in getting a Pleiadian Starseed Activator. I do sell all 6 of them in a bundle. So all of the 6 universal nations: Sirius, Arcturus, Orion, Andromeda, Lyran, Pleiades, and Andromeda. So I have the 6-pack as well. And it's just a really good way to attune yourself to the star systems if you're looking to get more galactically charged. And I think they go well when we go through portals and gateways to work with the activators. There's like a cooling effect to them. Even right now, it feels like my wrists are cooling, and I'm opening up the temple centers in my wrists. As those connect in and regenerate your universal tree of life, the smaller 24-dimensional temple structures in your organic body that ride along your meridian lines and that ride along your axial tonal lines. So you can work with the oils to generate the soft spots and also clear your universal tree of life, which is really cool. Yeah, so we're going through a 111 gateway once the calendar turns over to November 1st. And 111 is an angel number, you guys. This is the number of protection. This is the number of divine intervention and angelic support. And I also want to strengthen you guys in knowing that, please know this, that because we think that the bad and the evil is constantly taking over, right? And it's like the scales are tipped in this evil over good, that evil's winning or darkness is winning, but it's not true. There are more angels here assisting for the highest good of all involved, of all of humanity, more than there is evil on this planet. That is how God actually designed it. Okay. And so I think we're going to be receiving more of this angelic support as we go through this 111 gateway, that our guardian angels are going to be working with us more through the thinning of the veils, through connecting to loved ones and that have passed away, through connecting through relationships and situations where you're having to let go and you're having to forgive others and you're also having to forgive yourself, right? Don't forget to, as you're forgiving and letting go of others, make sure you're also forgiving yourself as well for abandonment and rejection and for not honoring of your own soul in times where you should have and needed to create those boundaries, right? So the forgiveness goes in all ways. The code 111 is representing 3 pillars. It's representing this world, it's representing the next world, and it's representing the state in between. So the 111 portal binds together all of those realms. And as we unlock through this number code, we are, again, more easily able to travel between these 3 states of being, even though a portal such as Halloween might be ever evolving in energies. And we think that these things are just, we may take them for granted, but as you tune in more, you realize that the energy it can't be destroyed. Instead, it's just simply shifting from one form to another. And so this is all about, honoring all of these processes at the sacred time. It's starting to get really, really windy right now as I talk about all this, but just know that this time, Halloween is not a time to be feared. I do think that the ghouls and the goblins, as I talked about parasites being in Paris, as I talked about the Schmeagles coming out and eating the dead bodies in Libya, there was also some word of like ghouls and dark spirits jumping on trains and eating people off trains. Like all of this stuff gets heightened at this time, right? All this stuff starts to like act up. But just know that it's just because the veil's thinning, right? And so these things have the ability to come into our realm and take physical form here, but that we do have a lot that stands behind us in terms of making sure that those things stay within a boundary, even within this realm, that they can't fully come in and take us over. Okay. And so celebrating on Samhain, celebrating in Halloween is a time to acknowledge that we're in control, that we're in the power of our own reality, and that we are connected to all things, all beings, even shadow beings and shadow creatures. Okay. They're all in a state of transforming their energy here. And so there are even light workers who help creatures in the shadow come to light, and we're all working in different areas of this work to bring things into wholeness, to bring things into sovereignty, God's sovereign freedom. So Halloween is definitely not a time to be feared. It just gives us a little extra thought to the fact that we are spiritual beings that never die. Instead, we live in different forms and in different ways, and we continually recreate ourselves through the cycles of life. And whatever death that you've experienced this year, whether it be the death of ideas, death of loved ones, death of relationships, death of an attitude, death of a dream, whatever it is, Halloween is really the perfect time to honor the shift, honor the new energy, and welcome these things into your life. We're about to be going through winter over here on this western side of the world, this northern western side of the world. And so we have to really remember gratitude, remember our loved ones, and really, again, focus on the spirit of forgiveness, focus on forgiving, as this is going to strengthen you internally. And so if you're struggling with forgiveness at this time, I do offer a 13-dimensional chakra clearing, for shedding deeper layers and focusing on forgiveness. And a lot of my session work, this comes up a lot. And so sometimes people need help with this. Sometimes people need reflection and introspection to work through what's blocked, what's built up inside, what feels like you just can't let go of something, right? Like it's so built up and there's so much wounding around it, so much pain around it. So I'd be happy to work with you, do a deep chakra clearing, go through all your chakras, cleanse and clear this stuff from your energy field. It will make forgiveness a lot easier to come in and to help you to higher intuitive abilities, clear your energetic blockages, heal traumas and pain body from this life, from your past lives, from all the karmic residue that you're carrying, from childhood trauma to ancestral predispositions of suffering, destruction codes and contracts. You know, it's good to clear those chakras so we can connect with our higher selves and we can feel like we are making progress spiritually, energetically, emotionally. And so yeah, I am doing a Halloween special for that for 10% off my deep chakra clearing, which is chakra 13, all lowercase at the checkout, at IndigoAngel222.com. You can also find my Pleiadian Starseed Activator on my website as well. You can also find the 6-pack to all 6 of the universal nations if you're interested in this too. I love working with these. Me and Noko, if you've seen any of our grid worker videos, you know, we usually bring these into the grid worker sessions and it just really brings and calls in the celestial energy. So yeah, guys, I don't know what I'm going to have to do to treat my pool just yet for winter. I think here in Florida, we just keep our pools open year round. So it would do me good to actually get a heater on this thing, which my pool guy was telling me that they're like $4,000 to install a like a solar pool heater. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that this year, but maybe someday in the future, I'll be able to use my pool year round. As of now, too cold for me. I have extreme tolerance, but yeah, guys, just wanted to send a message that I love you all so much. Allow yourself to forgive. Okay, as hard as it is, especially with our parents, going back to that, it's hard to forgive our parents. It's hard. But if you can do that, you're unstoppable. There's nothing you can't do. You know, decide, make a choice to let go of how you've been wronged, how you've been victimized. And it's okay to feel your victimization. We're always talking about clearing victimizer programs, that this isn't good, that this is mind control programming. But you know what? The human process really is to be able to grieve where you've been victimized. You have to take some time to do that. So you can get to that point that you can say, I let go and I forgive, you know? So break down those walls. Break down those walls around your heart. Break down those walls around your third eye. Break down those walls in your sacral chakra of separation, of guarding and protecting yourself, of feeling like you have to do that. And take some time for yourself. Feel where you've been wronged. Okay, let yourself have that acknowledgement to yourself. And then forgive yourself. And then love yourself. And then embrace yourself. And then be beautiful. Be a shining star in that eternal light that you are. Okay, guys? So, yes. Happy Halloween. Happy Samhain. I love you all so much. Namaste. See you on the next video. Peace.